Right, so we now know that Anthony Joshua would be fighting Otto Wallin on December 23rd in Saudi Arabia. Now, I'm really excited for this fight. I think that this fight has the potential to really catch fire and just become quite a slugfest. And there's really a few reasons for this. One of the main reasons is Otto Wallin is very game. He fights almost like a veteran, really. I mean, you watch how when he cut Tyson Fury, the referee called break to a clinch, and he tried ripping the cut open with his open glove. He's, like I said, he's fighting like a veteran, and he has a lot of heart. And where Otto Wallin has never really made it as a fighter yet, he has a lot to prove. He's very hungry. As well as this, one of the reasons I think this fight will be a good one is Anthony Joshua, although is the physically superior fighter, I think at this stage he's just shot to pieces mentally. I don't think we're going to see Anthony Joshua back to how he was ever again. And bringing the what concerns me about this is me as a boxing fan, somebody who just wants to see the best out of every fighter. I laid out a blueprint last year on how to rebuild Anthony Joshua's confidence, and the experts around him haven't done this at all. They gave him a difficult fight in Franklin. You know, he was an awkward guy who came to win, who'd looked good in his last performance, and then they signed him to fight Dillian Whyte, a very aggressive guy and very confident. And when that fight fell through, they called in a tall guy who hits hard, who Deontay Wilder had knocked out in one round, so he had the pressure of having to knock Robert Helenius out. So they really haven't followed the blueprint that has worked for so many heavyweights who have been knocked out. It's been used for Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, Evander Holyfield, Riddick Bowe. They always build them up slowly before putting them in with live opponents. And Otto Wallin for his third fight would be a good choice. His third fight since his loss, this would be a good choice if he'd had two easy knockover jobs. Another concern to me is the fact that Otto Wallin is a southpaw and he's 6'5". He's quite tall. He's taller than Alexander Usyk and he has a similar style. Now, people will say, well, he's nowhere near as good as Usyk, and that's true, but he doesn't need to be anywhere near as good as Usyk at that style to beat Anthony Joshua, because if you really watch that second fight, you could argue that was 11-1 or a 10-2 fight in terms of rounds to Usyk versus Joshua. Now, don't get me wrong, I've scored it closer than that every time, but there's only one or two rounds that really stand out as definitely going to Anthony Joshua. And I just can't understand the thought process behind putting him in with Otto Wallin. I just can't understand it. They're probably going to scupper the Deontay Wilder fight because they've also chucked Wilder in with Joseph Parker, and I think one or both of these guys are going to lose. I don't think it's going to be a situation where Joshua and Wilder win. And actually, I don't want to ruin my prediction video, I think they're both going to lose. I don't think Deontay Wilder will beat Joseph Parker. That might surprise a lot of people, but other than height, reach, arm length and power, he has nothing on Joseph Parker. He doesn't have better footwork, faster hands, he doesn't have the same punch variety, he doesn't have the work rates, he doesn't have the chin, he doesn't have the experience. Wilder seems to have more appetite for battle, more fighting spirit, but to me, Joseph Parker seems to have actually brought a lot of fighting spirit out of himself. Now, people talk about the Joe Joyce fight where they say, well, he needs to go hell for leather versus Joe Joyce. The difference is, Joseph Parker had spent 8 rounds punching Joe Joyce all around the head and body with it having no effect on him, right? And he couldn't actually push Joe Joyce off him. Joe Joyce was sending Joseph Parker reeling. I'm going to turn this into a double prediction here, actually. Screw it. Joseph Parker was sent reeling every time Joe Joyce pushed him. Deontay Wilder's not that strong. He's only ever shown the ability to do that uh, when he's got somebody badly hurt, and even then it's just all over the place, and often Wilder ends up falling over. I don't think that this is a good move by the Saudis. I don't think we're going to see Joshua versus Wilder. I think they both lose their fights, and this, I mean, I don't think the Saudis are particularly confident in either man, and that's why they gave them their opponents. I think the perception is Joseph Parker doesn't have much heart, and the perception is that Otto Wallin just isn't very good. Because if you look at it, Wallin is the least proven out of every heavyweight on the card, and other than Daniel Dubois, Joseph Parker hasn't shown as much heart as all the other guys, but then he doesn't have the power, so I think they thought, okay, we'll give them 2 easy touches. But I don't see them as easy touches. I think that Joseph Parker's body work is going to be really difficult for Wilder to stop. I think Joseph Parker will be able to get on the inside of his head low, and that's all you really have to do against Deontay Wilder, is get up close to him. He's not a particularly heavy man. He's not strong. He doesn't know how to wrestle you off. The third Fury fight was there for the taking for Wilder, and I said it beforehand. I know I don't have a video up because I wasn't uploading at that point, but Deontay Wilder needed to learn to pivot and throw a left hook, and he would have won that fight. Tyson Fury is open to left hooks, like majorly open to left hooks. And Francis Ngannou showed it, and it's ridiculous that White didn't work on his foot speed, because White could have knocked him out with a left hook. He had everything he needed to knock Fury out as long as he worked on his foot speed and came in light. And the same for Deontay Wilder. He really lost his opportunity versus Fury. The left hook is the key to knocking Fury out. And I just don't think that Wilder is adaptive enough to beat Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker arguably beat Anthony Joshua. It was a timid performance, but what was Joseph Parker at that point? 23, 24 years old. He was very young, coming over to Wembley, 80,000 people or 90,000. From what I can tell, he was boiling himself quite low. He now comes in heavier. He came in too heavy against Joe Joyce, but I don't think he'll do that versus Wilder. And he arguably beat Joshua. I mean, that was a close fight, and the referee stopped the action every time Joseph Parker got close. People seem to just completely ignore Joseph Parker's jabs to the body and his hooks to the body throughout that fight, and just act like Joshua controlled it. Joshua did not control Joseph Parker in the slightest. He did not control Parker. What happened was the referee made sure that the fight stayed on the outside, and Joshua was able to land some punches before Joseph Parker would rally and attack, and the judges remembered Joshua's punches rather than Joseph Parker's. I don't really see anything other than Wilder's fighting spirit and his one-punch knockout power to trouble Joseph Parker. You take away Deontay Wilder's straight right hand, and this is Joseph Parker all day. He's stronger, quicker, hand and foot, quicker hand and foot. I mean, Wilder's quicker on the attack, but he cannot move. Fights better on the inside, more proven, better chin. I'm telling you now, Deontay Wilder would have been knocked out in the same fashion by Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce would have steamrolled Deontay Wilder, and if they ever fight, we'll see that, because Wilder just has nothing versus a man who's stronger than him other than his straight right hand. So there's my picks. I'm going with Otto Wallin to win on points versus... I'm going with Wallin to win in the eyes of the fans, but I think that they will give the fight to Anthony Joshua. I think most fans will go, it's quite close, but they had Wallin winning, and the Saudis will give it to Anthony Joshua. You think one of the judges gave it to Joshua in the second Usyk fight, when, like I said, that was arguably 11 or 10 rounds to Alexander Usyk. And I think Joseph Parker, I think he beats Deontay Wilder something like 117, 111. I think there'll be some quiet rounds. Maybe Parker will get dropped, but if he does, I see him basically just putting his hands up, coming under Wilder's punches, and getting close to Wilder and clinching him, and I don't see Deontay Wilder knowing how to actually deal with that. So tell me what you think. You might think I'm chatting absolute crap here, but that's how I see it going. I don't think that we're going to see Wilder versus Joshua next after these two fights. You have yourself a good day, and thank you very much.